clap, please. Beautiful. All right, as soon as you're ready, man. And as you please. Take your time.
Hi, family. Welcome to day 6 of your fast. You and I just finished reading the miracle of the 5,000 in Mark. This is one of 2 miracles illustrated in all 4 Gospels that signifies some importance. And in my journey, I've learned that miracles are always signposts or these great illustrations about the heart and the nature of God. Remembering as we come to chapter 6 that Jesus had just sent out the apostles to do signs and miracles and wonders and healings and casting out of demons in his name. They've returned and they're excited and they want to spend time. This is like debrief after a mission trip. Like you want to tell all the wonderful things that you saw happen in the Lord's name. And Jesus, recognizing their need for rest, says, come away with me. Let's spend some time together. Let's be alone and rest. That illustrates God as Jehovah Jireh, the God providing rest.
You're doing perfect.
Jesus understands our need for rest. You might remember him resting on the boat in the storm. You remember him going away to find solitude and find rest. He understands the need and provides the way to find rest for you and me. In the middle of their rest, the crowd has run around the lake to call out, recognizing the Lord and his apostles, wanting to see what was going to happen next. He looked out and had compassion on them. When you read the version in Matthew, you'll see he said he felt compassion in a gut way. The word there indicating that deep inside his body he had compassion for them because they were like lost sheep without a shepherd. We know Jesus as the shepherd, the true shepherd, and he had compassion and provided teaching immediately. He began to teach truths about the kingdom. He set about kingdom business. And there we see Jesus as Jehovah Jireh, the provider of truth.
Is that it?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The third thing we see in the scripture is Jehovah Jireh, the God of provision, providing healing. He healed their sick in the crowds. So we've seen God provide rest and truth and healing. The fourth thing we see is that Jesus is the God of provision even for sustenance. The apostles saw the great crowd and they were overwhelmed. Even though they had just done miracles in his name, they felt like this one thing was too big. They said, we're in a desolate place, but the root of that word means like we're in a lonely place. We're far from anything. And even the money that we have, we couldn't find a place to buy enough food to feed all these people. Send them all away so they can find their own way. But Jesus says, you feed them. Go count what you have. And I believe that God does this to illustrate to us that first we count what we have, the gifts we have or the talents that we have or the provision that we have. And then we lay it before him, not in a way to throw our hands up and say, see, God, this isn't enough. But for him to say, now watch what I do. Watch what I can do with this if you have just that little bit of faith. I've seen this countless times this year working here at Christ Church when I didn't think there were enough volunteers or there weren't enough provisions or there weren't enough, hold on because I forgot what there wasn't enough of.
All right. You just redo that sentence. It's fine.
Okay. I've seen this countless times this year working here at Christ Church When I was down in my spirit feeling like there weren't enough volunteers for this event or there weren't enough clothes for that container, and God supernaturally multiplied my efforts, and our material provisions. And He would want to do the same for you. Mark's words indicate that the Lord commanded that the people be seated. And the word that he used was that of a garden plot that grows herbs, a really ordered seating in 50s and 100s, the same way they were commanded out of Israel in the Old Testament. The Lord illustrates here that He's not a God of chaos. He's a God of order. And people aren't going to clamor and fight over this tiny provision of food, but that He's going to pass it out as master of the feast. And He's going to multiply it until it is finished. Jehovah Jireh, God the provider of sustenance. So throughout these 4 illustrations of how God provides, I hope that throughout today and throughout your fast and throughout the rest of your life, you learn to take what little you have and give it to the Lord and watch Him supernaturally multiply it. That's all.
Give me a quick spot of Julie's heart and then get up and walk off. You know, like hey guys, we love you. Thanks for doing this with us.
Oh.
I know you're fasting right now and it's hard. You guys are cool. We like you. Any of you love them.
Okay. Okay. I love this church's heart, that we would fast together and pray together and be united. Thanks so much for walking through this alongside of us. I'm honored to serve alongside you.